Hey friends, welcome back to the Happy Homestead. I'm Amanda, and today I'm going to talk about fat. And no, not the fat that we all have on our bodies in one level of degree or another, but more about the fats that we cook with and the fats we use in our kitchen. This can be a pretty controversial topic for some, and so if you happen to be one of those people and this is not jiving with you, by all means, skip it. But I think it's important to talk about because fats constantly get a bad reputation. For myself, growing up in the 80s and the 90s, I can remember, fat was bad. And so, butter was bad and lard was bad. And then all of a sudden, Crisco came out and margarine came out. And then all of these other processed soft butters, right, that are spreadable, that come in these big tubs. And I used to buy those too when I didn't know any different. But here's the thing, we all know different now. We know better. And if you aren't one of those people yet, I'm hoping I can bring you to the good side and show you today. So I'm first going to list out which each of these are, and then I'll go through what I use them for. So we have olive oil, coconut oil, butter, this is bacon fat, lard, and then occasionally avocado oil. So that is the extent of the fats and oils in our house. Let me now talk about how I use each. So first, olive oil. This is a 1 gallon jug of extra virgin organic cold pressed olive oil from Azure Standard. I buy this by the gallon and it's great for cooking. So really in any type of recipe that you would saute or even top, like with salad dressing or caprese salad, right, as like a add-on to a cold dish, olive oil is perfect. It's one of those oils that is pretty ubiquitous across all cooking and even all ethnicities. So we use a lot of this, but I buy it by the gallon because I also use it to make soap. So if you're ever interested in learning to make soap, you need some really good high quality oils for that as well. And olive oil is one of my go-tos. Next, coconut oil. I buy this from Costco. This is an 84 fluid ounce of organic virgin coconut oil. It is cold pressed, it is unrefined. Now, if you can't find this at Costco or you don't have one near you, Azure Standard has a wonderful organic cold pressed coconut oil as well. But this is a really good oil for baking. So when you're baking cookies or brownies or a cake, right? And a lot of the recipes will say vegetable oil, and that is like a big no. Don't do that. I often replace with maybe a little bit of applesauce, a little bit of coconut oil, and sometimes just plain old butter. But this is also good for soap. I use this for soap making too, but it's perfect for baking. All right, since I mentioned butter, we're gonna go there. Butter. Butter is the life of the kitchen. It is in this kitchen. So these are 2 types of butters I buy from Azure Standard. And again, I buy this in bulk and I keep it in the freezer until I need to pull one out and keep it in our refrigerator. But this is, and if you've seen any of my Azure videos, you've seen me talk about this. This is the Rumiano family organic butter. This is the unsalted. And then this is the Grazier's grass-fed, vat-cultured European butter. These are the 2 we buy. If one of them's out, we buy the other, vice versa. And I always have butter on hand in the freezer. Now, why is butter so important? Besides the fact that it's so delicious, it truly is a healthy, sustainable fat. And it can be used just almost like olive oil in any type of cooking and even baking, right? So we can saute in a little bit of butter. We can spread it on our bread. That's a really good fat that way. And it's also good for baking. So coconut oil, olive oil, and butter are the 3 that I use very frequently. All right, let's go to the last 3 here. Does anyone know what this is? Yes, you're right. Some of you are saying it. This is lard. This is home rendered lard. And I want you to look at how beautifully white and pure this is. So you can go to a butcher, you can go to a local farmer, and you can ask if they have any lard or leaf fat, sometimes it's called as well, different types of fat from the pig, and purchase it. And it's usually pretty cheap and affordable. And then you come home and you render it down. I don't think I've done a video on that yet, and I will do so because I have some to render. But it is such a wonderful way to, again, have a sustainable fat, right? If you're already purchasing some pork from your butcher or from your farmer, then just go ahead and get that fat too. And then home render it down and use this. So what do I use the lard for? Well, I do use it in some of my pie crusts. I'll also sometimes change it up and use butter or coconut oil, but it's great for the pie crusts. It is also really good for frying. So we don't do a lot of frying, but if you ever wanted to fry something, like when I think when I did my eggplant, I think I fried it in lard, but that's kind of what I would use for my frying oil is the lard. And I keep this in the refrigerator. So when I am home rendering down the lard, I might end up with 2 or 3 quarts worth, and all of them but one will go in the freezer, and it just keeps it from lasting that much longer. It really will last a very long time. And then I always have one in the refrigerator that I use from and pull from. Okay, along the animal fat route, this is bacon grease. So every now and then we'll fry up some bacon, and I do not dump that down the drain. I do not put it in the trash can. I don't soak it up with anything and throw it outside. I save it and I will use it. So I will often use bacon grease depending upon what I'm cooking, maybe to saute some vegetables instead of one of these other fats, right? It's all about no waste and making sure that everything gets utilized. And I will use that a lot of the times for sauteing vegetables and maybe even some meats as well. But I don't always have that on hand, but when I do, we use that. Last but not least, this is avocado oil. And I use this the most sparingly. The only reason is because you have to absolutely do your research with what type of and what brand of avocado oil you are purchasing, because a lot of the times it is cut with other types of highly processed oils. And even if it is pure, this is also a very highly processed oil. So I will use this sometimes for frying and sauteing, but only if I don't have the others on hand. So once, I have to be honest, once this is gone, this is all the avocado oil we have left in our house, I'm not gonna buy any more. I'm going to stick with the other 5. So now let's talk about the oils that I have stopped buying and stopped using within our kitchen. And that is any kind of seed oil and highly processed oil, which is seed oils. So that would include canola oil, vegetable oil. That's like the 2 kind of big catch-all. If you were to go look at the ingredients of vegetable oil or canola oil, it is most likely a blend of either soybean oil and or rapeseed oil. Canola oil, I believe, is rapeseed oil. And it is so processed. And look, I'm not in the medical field. I am not a doctor. You need to do you. You do your own research for your health, your family's health. It is your responsibility. Do not depend on me or anyone else, including businesses, government entities, etc., to tell you what is healthy or what is not. Do your own research. For us, we eliminate seed oils from our kitchen. Now, you go out to eat, absolutely you're getting those seed oils. There is no doubt about it. They are cheap and they are highly processed and, in my opinion, detrimental to our health. So we don't cook with them here. There's only so much I can control, but in this kitchen, they don't exist. So I do not buy canola oil, vegetable oil, Crisco, right? That is a highly processed, trans fatty, hydrogenated oil, not good. I would much rather use lard. So one thing you'll notice about all of the oils and the fats that we do use is they are as close to the natural source as possible. And you want that for just about everything, right? It doesn't matter if it's your fats or your meats or your vegetables, right? You don't want things that are highly processed. You want things as close to the natural source of how they grow in this world first. I'll post some information down below on what I have found with seed oils. Again, do your own research, make your own decisions. And if you're interested in purchasing some of these items for Azure Standard, there is a link below. Hugest benefit into our kitchen and our quality of life by far over the last 2 years is joining Azure Standard and getting quality ingredients from them. Thanks for joining me on the journey today to talk about the fats and the oils in our kitchen. If there's one that I missed that you use, let me know. But again, I urge you to go do your own research and make the best decision for your own health. Stay healthy and stay well. See you next time. Bye-bye.